I mean, this Epstein stuff is very, very disturbing. I want to go through a little bit of what came out in these documents real quick, real fast. I'll go through some of it. There was George Bush was in there. This document here is saying that George Bush Sr. allegedly raped a male victim child and witnessed some type of ritualistic sacrifice. And this is all mentioned in the document here. This one is Prince Andrew, who's being accused of torturing a trafficked girl, and I think there was a picture that people found that went along with this. Then you have Jeffrey Epstein was colluding with journalist Michael Wolff to obtain compromising Trump information from Epstein, which Epstein admitted that he did not have. Of course, everybody in the mainstream media was jumping on this little portion here, and they were sharing it everywhere. This channel here was the first one, Media Touch. This new Epstein file production features numerous allegations made against Donald Trump and others. And they show this one allegation here where it was apparently a young girl who accused Donald Trump of being there when she was SA'd. But they all seem to leave out the most important part. They crop out the area where it says the complainant was spoken to and deemed not credible. Additional research showed 3 separate incidents involving police, which requested mandatory psychiatric evaluation. Also, there was an article written about it in 2016 where it said troubled woman with a history of drug abuse who claimed that she was assaulted by Donald Trump at Jeffrey Epstein's sex party at age 13 made it all up. So they always leave that part out of it when they're all sharing this one story. Trump is in the Epstein files. And then they also say Trump was in the Epstein files this many times to show that he was mentioned in there numerous times. But what they don't say is most of those times came from a hotline that they opened up. And a lot of those accusations came in around 2025, which I find it to be very telling because we were talking about this back when Trump was like saying that it's a hoax. I think that was part of, he knew that they were trying to like flood this hotline with accusations against him so that it would end up in the files. You know what I mean? And I think that that's why he was trying to avoid it coming out.
Because again, if they had anything, you think that the whole time Biden was president, that they would not have used this?
They would have definitely put it out.
Yeah.
They would have definitely put it out.
Or at least put out the parts about Trump.
The parts about him, for sure.
Yeah.
It would have been conveniently leaked to the New York Times. You know what I mean? Trump, and they would have put out all the information they could, especially to stop him from getting elected again. Okay, so let's get back through some of this. So this was a huge bombshell. Jay-Z and Pusha T are among names mentioned in the newly released Epstein-related files. How will the Black community take this about their beloved Jay-Z, who they address as Hove from Jehovah? And I'll just read a little bit of this so we can go through this because this has spiraled in other ways. So it's a lot of redactions in here. Redaction called the FBI National Threat Operations Center to identify herself as a victim of sex abuse by Jeffrey Epstein and others. Redacted provided the following information. In approximately 1994, Redacted revealed herself to as a past victim of sex abuse by Epstein. She described the abuse occurred during parties. Further identified as a friend of Redacted. In approximately 1996, Redacted resided with Redacted in Redacted, and unknown man abducted Redacted from her home, whence she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, parentheses Jay-Z, while Weinstein had inserted his fingers into Redacted. She believed she was in Epstein's mansion in Florida. Estimated she was abducted on several occasions, awakened each time in a opulent indoor setting, suffered from sex abuse on multiple of those occasions in which Epstein participated, recalled Leon Black and William Barr, currently United States Attorney General, being present during some of the occasions of abuse in approximately 2006. Last recalled being abused by Epstein on. So this came out.
So to be fair, is this kind of the same thing with like the same stuff with Trump? You know, where it was kind of like not credible.
So this hasn't been investigated.
Okay.
So
at all,
the one with Trump, they investigated the girl and found her not to be credible. Okay. This one right here, well, we don't have any more information about this, but we've never heard about this. This is the first we're hearing about it, and the accusation is pretty bad, and plus we had these accusations from the Tony Busby case before, when the Diddy trial was going on. You remember all of that, right? And it's looking very suspicious because right after that, Jay-Z deactivated his Instagram account after he lost 10 million, or he lost some followers. Beyonce lost 10 million followers, and Jay-Z, after Jay-Z's name was exposed, and I believe he lost a couple million as well, or something like that. And then, Jay-Z always keeps things close to the chest, so I don't think we're going to hear anything from him, but yeah, that was in there.
It's very strange though that his page. I actually, when I saw that they said he deleted most of the stuff that's on his page, I went to his page just to look, and it was true.
Yeah.
And I screenshot and I sent it to y'all. Yeah. Why would you do that?
Yeah, it's suspicious. It's very suspicious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's some other weird stuff that we found in the emails. Jeffrey Epstein spoke to Harvard scientists about sexual benefits of turning children trans, and spoke of doing so as young as 3 years old. In this, he talks about let's see, by blocking testosterone receptors or castration at the same time increasing estrogen production. The one blocks male features, the second encourages female features. More masculine women, heavy testosterone dosage, blah, 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 blah. First attract this. We are now pushing the intervention earlier, so you notice your 3-year-old son has trans tendencies. So now you're intervene with the hormones. I would be frightened to do that, but who knows? Yeah, so he was introducing these ideas back in 2018. Here's someone talking a little bit more about, because there's other documents regarding this thing too.
Wait, you mean transgenderism was an evil psyop the whole time? From Robert Trivers, renowned evolutionary biologist who studied sexual selection in populations of animals, to Jeffrey Epstein, subject trans. We are now pushing the intervention earlier, so you notice your 3-year-old son has trans tendencies, so now you intervene with hormones. Notice this, ready? I would be frightened to do so, but who knows? In other words, I wouldn't do it to my kid, but let's push it on their kids. Why would they do that? Oh, to help people? No, to increasingly produce novel phenotypes, more feminine men, by blocking testosterone receptors or through castration. The purpose of which is to create degenerate sexual fantasies, which promote prostitution and pornography, and keep people paying for the injections, which are costly. This was never about medicine. It was promoting satanic, destructive, antenatal social patterns that these people can subvert and make money off of, while destroying your children's lives and your nation, because they hate you and they think of you like cattle.
And not only, it's just what we were just talking about, not only is it because it makes money, it's because it continues to push that Overton window into more and more degeneracy, where then you can, if you can blur the lines between what sex is or what age someone can decide what gender they are, you can blur that line on what age they can decide when they want to have sex. You can make that leap can happen at some point. You just have to continually move that Overton window. And that's part of the agenda here. Let's see. Here we go. Something that kind of was confirming Pizzagate. This was a Hillary Clinton email to look to it's to Huma Abedin, Barack Obama, John Podesta, Ben Affleck, Nancy Pelosi. January 25th, 2011, 3:28 p.m. When we begin the pizza arrangement, I thought we were going to be more careful than this. Operating from the White House is not what I originally had in mind. Remember that the hot dogs can come, but if you make a spectacle of it, that will be our downfall. Please know that I am speaking as a friend. You are the president and can do as you like, but I have to say, I think it would be wiser to restrict the activity to our predetermined locations. Let me know what everyone thinks. We can vote if you'd like. Does that sound like
it's weird.
Email?
It's very weird, especially with the hot dog talk from before.
Yeah,
that we know about from the Podesta files
and pizza arrangement. When we began the pizza arrangement, and then you talking about hot dogs, and then remember when in the Podesta files we saw the email from where Obama ordered $65,000 worth of hot dogs to the White House.
Yes, sir.
What do you need? How do you even have that many hot dogs? That's insane. But yeah, Pizzagate was a hoax. Um, also, I wanted to show you guys this because this was insane. All the people that play the Powerball all the time, hoping to win. This kind of just shows you that this stuff is. And I've heard from other people that the Powerball is like a CIA thing where they get. This is how they can get untraceable money from the public by having people gamble it on the Powerball and stuff like that. But so back in 2008, Jeffrey Epstein, Zorro Trust won $85 million Powerball jackpot. How's that possible?
It's not.
How is that possible?
You cheating the system.
Cheating the system. I thought that was interesting. That came out in the files. This came out in the files. Children were being sent to Epstein's Isle on Disney cruises. That came out in the documents. What's this right here? Oh, did you guys hear about the guy who came out on 4chan the day? I think it was like the day of or the day before, the morning of Epstein's death. Yes, the guy who made the 4chan post about how he worked at the prison and he saw a truck pull up that didn't follow protocol and he didn't know what it was doing there. Let me see. I'll see if I can pull it up here. So it says, not saying anything after this. Please do not try to dox me. But last night at 4:15 count, they took him medical in a wheelchair, front cuffed, but not one. Triage nurse says they spoke to him. Next thing we know, a trip van shows up. We do not do releases on the weekends unless a judge orders it. Next thing we know, he puts in a single man cell and hangs himself. Here's the thing. The trip van did not sign in and we did not record the plate number, and a guy in a green dress military outfit was in the back of the van, according to the tower guy who let him through the gate. You guys, I'm shaking right now, but I think they switched him out. Yeah, this was his Reddit post, and apparently the FBI investigated this guy because they saw this and were freaked out about it. So somebody who is claiming to have worked there is saying that they think that they switched his body out before he was quote unquote hanged, before he hanged himself, quote unquote. Just more stuff in the files. Here's the founder of an adoption charity asking Epstein if he needed any new stakes for his island because he only had 2 left. Listen to this. I will be sending fresh muffins down with Karina. You currently have 2 stakes left on the island. Would you like new ones? What?
Yeah, that's weird.
What are muffins and what are steaks?
It's all coded language. Let me see. What's this right here? I just saved a bunch of stuff the people are still going through these files like crazy because there's so many documents. It's like, man, insane. So Epstein tells Ariane de Rothschild not to put any. Oh yeah. So there's a bunch of stuff. This is the other thing that people don't realize is a lot of these elite people, they're in these cults. They believe that they're connected to like royal bloodlines. They believe they're connected to a superior like intelligence. They're above most people. And for people like Epstein and his ilk in that way, they even connected to the fact that they are Jewish because they see everyone else as goym. And that's another term that is all throughout these Epstein leaks goym is in there so many times, and Epstein is constantly talking about people as goym and not to worry about the goym. I'm gonna show you some of that, but this one was him talking about not to hire any Kenyans. You should have money under the soil, maybe loan from the bank. It says new advisory board, Summers, Eba, Prisker, no diplomats, etc. Not African, serious people with strong finance operations, reputation, not charity, preferable some Jews. So he didn't want any Africans hired on this board. And black people were mad about this. There was other emails where he said not to bring any black girls to the island. I don't know. Did you see my post about that when I posted the Key and Peele skit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The zombies the zombies,
The racist zombies.
the racist zombies.
Yeah,
That's
that's what it
always been
reminded me of. People were
funny
like,
one.
offended that he didn't want black girls on the island. It's like, you should be happy about
That's
that.
crazy.
Why are you
So
mad at
crazy.
that?
Again, that's that amygdala.
Yeah.
You know, coming up. They're not
Get your
processing.
amygdala right.
Yeah, they were offended that he didn't want black girls on the island. It's like, you should be happy about that. So people pointed out that some of these documents show that he was involved in Bitcoin in some way.
Yeah, that he was like the founder or something.
Yeah, that he might be the one who created Bitcoin.
Yeah, like it's supposed to be, I don't know the name, but sounds like a Japanese name.
Satoshi.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says letter written. There was around 12,000 comments to Bitcoin's code. Today there are 47,583 comments to Bitcoin's code. That means that 74% of the Bitcoin core development and code was committed after Jeffrey Epstein took over the de facto senior management role as benefactor. He may not have been Satoshi, but he was absolutely running the executive direction of Bitcoin on behalf of Mossad. That's pretty crazy. Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to talk about this later, but you guys remember this story we showed on the podcast before? The Hampstead children?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, these are just things that so many of this stuff we've forgotten about over the years, but this is stuff that you guys should look into. Look into this Hampstead cult that was in England. I think this was in the 90s, right?
Yeah,
I think it was 90s.
Yeah, I think so.
Or the early 2000s.
Or 90s, 2000s.
Yeah. Bill Gates was in there many, many times. I don't know if you guys saw a lot of that stuff. He was obsessed with Jeffrey Epstein. He was obsessed with the parties and the Russian girls. Apparently, there's documents in here where he was emailing Jeffrey Epstein, asking him how he could secretly give his wife some STI medication without her knowing, because he was getting sexually transmitted diseases from Russian hookers.
That is crazy.
Yeah, like he was trying to drug his wife to give her STI medication. I guess he wouldn't have to tell her that.
So she would find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you hear her talk about how happy she is to be divorced from him now that all this is coming out, I saw an interview where she was just like, listen, whatever happened with all of that, like, all those people need to be held accountable, but I'm so glad that I'm away from that. And, clearly she's open about the fact that she divorced him over this. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy. He seems to be like one of the biggest weirdos. But this was an email where they were going over pandemic stuff. And let me see, what's the gist of it? Bill Gates was planning pandemic simulations with Jeffrey Epstein back in 2017. So they were going over doing simulations about and you remember they did that pandemic simulation right before COVID hit. But Bill Gates has been plotting this stuff forever. Then you got the Zohran Mamdani connection, where his mom was attending parties with Ghislaine Maxwell back in 2009. Now, all the allegations about him being Jeffrey Epstein's son don't seem that all seems fake. All the pictures of them together is all AI. But yeah, his mom definitely, she was part of that club. She was an art film director back in the day. So she was in the elite circles. She was hanging around, hobnobbing with all of them. So she was going to the parties. So it only makes sense that he would be now ushered into that ilk as being the mayor of New York. Then we have Stacey Plaskett. You guys remember the one who was presiding over the island that he's a part of her. He's one of her constituents. Remember? And when they were questioning her in front of Congress, she was lying about the fact that he was texting her during a hearing. So she was in the documents. In August 14th, 2014 email, Plaskett reached out to Jeffrey Epstein, island manager, to arrange transportation to Little St. James for August 18th, 2014. Plaskett has previously testified under oath that she only visited Epstein at his Manhattan home and her office.
Lies.
Yeah. Here's another conspiracy theory that seems to have been exposed a little bit by the Epstein documents. You guys remember the Wayfair scandal that we talked about on here before? You guys remember all those weird pieces of furniture that were going for exorbitant amounts of prices? So Jeffrey Epstein's assistant bought a single unlabeled $800,453 item from Wayfair. And this was June 28th, 2018. Right around when we were talking about it. Yeah. Bought something for $8,000 on Wayfair. Unlabeled. Let's see what else we got here. This is Jeffrey Epstein.
Furniture is expensive, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a bedroom set now. It's not $8,000.
Yeah.
The stuff I'm looking at.
And you think Jeffrey Epstein's buying a bed from Wayfair?
Yeah, he's getting it delivered to the island.
Yeah. Check out this email to Roger Schank from Jeffrey Epstein. This is the way the Jew makes money and made a fortune in the past 10 years, selling short the shipping futures. Let the goym deal in the real world. From shipping news, the most dramatic growth has been in shipping futures, which allow shipping companies to lay off risks. The most popular futures are forward freight agreements to deliver goods, blah, 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 blah. So he's talking about how the Jews make money and let the goyms deal in the real world. Let me see something. What was this?
Jeffrey Epstein's bank account was called Baal, the ancient Canaanite deity which people would sacrifice their children to. A victim's diary shows that she was impregnated multiple times and forced to give birth for Ghislaine and Epstein. Israel is mentioned twice as much as Donald Trump in the new documents. Here he is discussing with Roger Schank, a Jewish-American academic and hedge fund worker, saying Jews create vast fortunes by manipulating markets and creating financial speculation and exploiting labor. He says, let the goyim deal in the real world. In a discussion with the Rothschild family, Epstein says if they overthrew the Ukrainian government, there would be great opportunities. The Rothschild family paid Epstein $25 million for certain algorithms. While talking to Peggy Seigel, August 7th of 2010, she asks if an event is going to be 100% Jewish. He says, no, they'll have goyim in abundance. But don't worry, they're just brilliant wasps from JP Morgan. Joshua Finkelstein, BlackRock's Larry Finkelstein's son, is accused of not having any respect for non-Jews, seeing them as not human. This is from his ex-girlfriend, Svetlana. He pressures her to have an abortion. In 2017, Epstein has a conversation talking about if you want to hire the best people, you have to hire only Jews. Only hire those who can prove they are genetically Jewish. Maria Farmer, one of the first victims to come out and name Epstein.
I wasn't allowed to go get food. And when I called Ghislaine and asked why I couldn't eat there, she said, it's a Jewish country club. You're not Jewish. They're not going to serve you. They, honest to God, think their DNA is better than everybody else's.
Said that their operation was motivated by Jewish supremacy.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff with these cultic people that are into this, abusing children, abusing underage girls that also think this way, which is weird. And it's a lot of documents in there that you see them talking like this in the Epstein files, which is weird. There's connections with him and Netanyahu, of course. Him meeting with him multiple times. It's a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot of weird stuff. And more stuff is going to come out because, this is just the beginning. And there's so many documents. So I don't know. I don't know what this is going to lead to. But we were talking about this months ago about, what it's going to do if more and more information gets out. I don't know. I don't know what this leads to. I don't know what happens because of this. I don't know if it opens people's eyes to what's really going on behind the scenes.
I mean, I think the biggest thing that I think it's going to do a couple things. One thing is expose people to things to get them more comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is make people afraid and try to fight themselves against it. And then the other thing that I think needs to happen is that recognize it, see the evil and the mess that's out there, and turn to God. Because that's the most important thing. Is I don't think we need to go out and try to now, you'll be in the same position if you're trying to figure out everything, right? Because it's just information.
Yeah.
Right. And information in and of itself isn't going to do anything for you. But more than anything, we need revelation.
Correct.
We need the Lord. We need to hear His word. What does His word do? It brings us into covenant with Him, which is about relationship. It causes us to have hope, peace, joy, and these are things that I would say anybody needs.
Yeah.
Truly, because there can be people can take this and now they're like, "Do you see? You see? You see?" It's like, yeah, we kind of already knew, right?
Yeah.
We knew. We kind of already knew. So it's not changing a whole lot for us. I think more than anything, it's like, all right, we need the Lord.
Yeah.
I think more than anything, dude, we got to get out of this system of thinking that media's for you, the government's for you, like just relying on
Yeah.
media, the government,
Yeah.
thinking that people are just good. No, they're not.
Or that they have your
Even if they're
best
not,
interests.
yeah, even if they're not into this stuff, if they still want to make money and then they're compromising for that, that's a huge problem. So they're
Yeah.
still under that. So either way, you can't. The mistake is we've been lulled to sleep and allow people to take control of things because it's easier for us. And now we have to take responsibility where we've given it up.
Yeah.
And you can't really do that unless you first give it all to God, right? So He can teach you how to take that responsibility.
Let me read some of Jordan's comments. I saw, what up, Jordan? We'll see you in a couple of days. He said, I saw that pic with the baby, but Mom Donnie was 18 in 2009, so something's off with that. Yeah. He said, yeah, I remember that Wayfair stuff seemed like it never really got denied, then just kind of went away. Exactly. And that's what always happens. They just kind of brush it under the rug, and then we don't hear about it anymore. He said, I wonder how much within these emails is coded language beyond just the food stuff. A lot of it, man. I believe a lot of it is. I mean, it seems like these people are connected to very high up people, if not even just central intelligence. And there's a lot of stuff that they're going to try to continue to cover up. We still don't even know. They confiscated Anthony Weiner's laptop. You remember that whole story? And it's so weird. Anthony Weiner was married to Huma Abedin, but was cheating with underage girls. But then Huma Abedin was Hillary Clinton's aide, and then John Podesta was Hillary Clinton. They're all like interconnected. Then they confiscate his laptop. Then they find more of her unsecured emails that she tried to erase from her server. And so then they reopen the investigation into her, but then they ultimately do nothing about that. But then they confiscate the laptop, and apparently they find some files on there that made grown officers, not the 9 people that were in the room, physically vomit. And then I believe all of them committed suicide. Every single officer that was involved in that investigation committed suicide or something like that. Do you guys know?
No way.
I believe so.
I don't know if it was all of them, but
Let me check.
I don't know. That's crazy.
Let me check.
If that is true, that's freaking crazy.
yeah, I heard that too. But
Let me see. I'm checking AI. Let's see if they have the answer. Says the claim appears to originate from online conspiracy. Emerged, blah, blah, blah. Laptop was handled primarily by the FBI. Spike in officer suicides. It says in 2019, the NYPD did experience a spike in officer suicides, 9 to 10 active members that year, attributed to broader mental health challenges, policing not in a specific investigation. Conspiracy posts sometimes list names like Stephen Silks, Joseph Calabrese, blah, 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 from those suicides, and retroactively tie them to Weiner's laptop without proof of involvement. Fact checks include from platforms analyzing claims, consistently find no connection. Okay, so yeah, maybe that's something that people were just connecting because there was a bunch of suicides in the NYPD that same year, and so they're connecting it to the laptop, even though they might not be connected. Yeah, so that's not verified, but I know, but there was a bunch of suicides that year, 9 to 10 active members. I believe even the like the head of the department committed suicide. Let me see. Because just because they don't have any connection to, they can't find the connection to it, doesn't mean that they. Deputy Chief Stephen Silks. Yeah, so it was Deputy Chief Stephen Silks. He was a respected veteran, Patrol Bureau, Queens North Executive Officer, first responder. He died from suicide shortly before mandatory retirement. Yeah, at age 62 to 63, with reports citing personal distress over retiring rather than job-related issues from any investigation. So they're saying he killed himself over.
Sure.
Yeah.
Uncle Denny said if Hillary Clinton was involved, it really wasn't suicide. I know about Vincent Foster.
Yes, we know about Vincent Foster. We just talked about Seth Rich, who was the one that leaked her emails, and we know about him as well. He was the victim of a robbery where no one stole anything, but he was shot like a bunch of times, apparently, a botched robbery out of nowhere right after he leaked her emails, just coincidentally. But yeah, I wanted to show this because this guy did a funny little parody video about everybody, about all the stuff, the way liberals reacted to the Epstein release.
Okay, this new Epstein email is kind of crazy. Look at this. Bill Gates was planning pandemic simulations with Epstein in 2017. Yeah, did you see the part about Trump and underage girls? Yeah, those are old allegations already discredited.
I was gonna send this to you, Jamie.
Did it? Okay, whatever. Check this out. An email refers to the founder of TMZ as a good friend who could help with media coverage. A pedo ring was controlling the narrative through media. Not that this is something new, but it's kind of wild. Nice, but Trump is in the files. I thought we already settled that with the facts, but Trump is in the files. Epstein had exchanges on trans children and how to normalize it. This guy wasn't just trafficking girls. He was in talks to push gender ideology. Don't care, Trump is in the files. Epstein sent an email saying Ghislaine Maxwell's father got killed after trying to blackmail Israeli intelligence. Trump, in an email to someone, Epstein said, "I represent the Rothschilds." Trump is in the files. Epstein lived in the Vatican for a while, giving design direction. Trump, he was working to overthrow Putin. Trump is in the files. He's literally in a picture with boxes containing CIA documents. Trump. Okay, there are emails about murders staged as suicides, government cover-ups, money laundering, a black market of sex trade, presidents and prime ministers all over the world, Mossad, CIA. Epstein ran at the top of global power. He had influence there. These are things to be looked at. And let's be honest, you didn't care or ask for these files when Joe Biden was president and when he had them. And now, you suddenly care about the children and the victims, and the only name that's been totally vindicated here, yet you're trying very hard to weaponize these files against, is Trump. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's exactly the sentiment that we've been seeing. I mean, even the fact that they've been pushing for these files to be released is because they want to see Trump in there, and that was all they cared about. And because for years, I mean, we showed the clip on here where Sonny Hostin was like, you know, just because someone is mentioned in the files doesn't mean they did anything wrong. You have clips of Jimmy Kimmel saying there is no Epstein list. All these, you know, Stephen Colbert, there's no such thing as an Epstein list. That's a conspiracy theorist. Like people, all these right-wing nuts that care about an Epstein list. And then all of a sudden, just like that, when the talking points get sent out to everybody, I guess after they had enough people call that tip line to add Trump's name to the files a bunch of times, then the narrative switched, where it's like, all of a sudden, Trump's a pedophile, released the Epstein list, he's Epstein's best friend, Epstein wrote him a birthday card, all this stuff started changing. And now that these files got dumped, they're ignoring everything else that has come out of these files, everything. All they want to see is Trump. Where's Trump? Where's Trump?
Trump is in the files.
Hilarious, man.
PDS.
Nope. Even to the point of your girl Lizzo, your girl Lizzo with extreme cope about Jay-Z in the clips and Listen to her reaction to them being mentioned.
Just like the American people in the comments. I knew she was wrong. Jay-Z, I knew he was. What did it say Jay-Z did? He was there in 1996. Come on, people. Like, y'all are falling for it. It's the easiest, oldest trick in the book. And honestly, I'm losing faith in the average intelligence of the American person. Because, come on. Just because somebody's name is mentioned in a 3 million document file of a person's life who's been lived over crimes who've spanned decades, doesn't mean that every single person is an accomplice. He could be mentioned. He referenced Jay-Z once. He was like, oh, we could learn from Jay-Z's business model. Why are y'all, where's the crime?
First of all, that is not why he was in there. That is not why he was in there. Second of all, it's funny how they can connect all those dots and that logic can fit into a perfect package when it doesn't come to Trump. But when it comes to Trump, if his name is they don't even want to know why his name was in there. His name's in there. That's all I care about.